Welcome to Dr. P.C. Verma Economist YouTube class. Today we will try to learn Fisher effect in macroeconomics. Most of the students have studied at graduation level quantity theory of money, transaction approach established by Irving Fisher. MV is equal to PT. This MV is equal to PT is very popular equation, and that was established by Fisher in his book The Purchasing Power of Money in 1911. And quantity theory of money established by Fisher primarily related to the relationship between quantity of money and general price level. He has established that there is direct and proportionate relationship between price level and quantity of money supply. This was challenged by Cambridge economist James Keynes. In 1936, he declared that Fisherian quantity theory is not applicable in real life, especially in capitalist economy, developed capitalist economy, and established a reformulated quantity theory of money. In his book, James Keynes has published in 1936, The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. And this direct and proportional relationship between supply of money and general price level was challenged by James Keynes. And it was further re-established by American economist Milton Friedman in his writings and restatement of quantity theory of money. Mind it, Keynes had challenged Fisherian quantity theory of money and established reformulated quantity theory of money. But Milton Friedman rejected Keynesian approach and accepted Fisher's quantity theory of money in a new version known as restatement of quantity theory of money. But Fisher effect is generally missed by the students. In Patna University syllabus, in Delhi University syllabus, Fisher effect is explicitly mentioned because Fisher effect is Irving Fisher's economic theory, and quantity theory of money is Fisher's quantity theory of money to establish the relationship between supply of money and general price level. Irving Fisher, if you read his books, he was great economist, he was great statistician, he was great mathematician, and therefore his writings have its own effect. And therefore, Fisher's quantitative theory of money is again re-established by all American economists, Nobel Prize winner economists. They have established it with modern tools, with modern instruments, using it and establishing the relationship which was established by Fisher. Here we are reading Fisher's effect. This effect is different from what you have read in a quantity theory of money. Fisher effect shows the Fisher effect is an economic theory created by Irving Fisher. Fisher theory describes the relationship between inflation and both real and nominal interest rate. We have just studied nominal interest rate and real interest rate, and we have seen also inflation there. So Fisher describes through his Fisher effect that there is a relationship between inflation and both real and nominal interest rates. We see the Fisher effect. Fisher effect states that real interest rate equals the real interest rate equals the nominal interest rate minus the expected inflation rate. It is now very easy to conceive Fisher effect as you have read nominal interest rate, real interest rate, and here the same thing which we have read that was established by Fisher effect. Fisher effect states that the real interest rate equal the nominal interest rate minus the expected inflation rate. We have already examined it in the last class. But at that time, I did not mention Fisher effect because I wanted to pass on the concept and now concentrate the same concept which is origined by Fisher effect. Fisher effect states that the real interest rate equals the nominal interest rate minus the expected inflation rate. Number 4, Fisher effect establishes the real interest rate, establishes that the real interest rate falls. Fisher establishes that real interest rates fall as inflation increases, unless nominal rates increase at the same rate as inflation. This is the most important statement in Fisher effect. Fisher effect, most important line is real interest rate falls as inflation increases. As inflation increases, other things remaining the same. If nominal rates increase at the same rate as inflation, Fisher effect establishes that real interest rates fall as inflation increases, unless nominal rates increase at the same rate as inflation. Then, fifth is Fisher effect shows how the money supply affects the nominal interest rate and inflation rate as a tandem. This term is likely to be explained. Tandem means working together. Tandem means working together. That means nominal interest rate and inflation rate both work together. Both work together in such a way that they will follow the same path. Follow the same path. It means there is direct and proportionate relationship between nominal interest rate, money supply and nominal interest rate and inflation rate as a tandem. That means nominal interest rate and inflation rate both will work together in the economy. While studying quantity theory of money, we have not taught this Fisher effect. We had focused on relationship between supply of money and general price level, direct and proportional relationship between M and P through the MB is equal to PT equation, Fisher equations. Here there is a different dimension of his scholarship, that he had utilized the money supply, the effect of money supply on the nominal interest rate and inflation rate. It is his research, Fisher research, that in the economy, capitalistic economy, developed economy, money supply is not only related to general price level. It is also related to nominal interest rate and inflation rate. Price level is inflation rate. Change in prices is inflation rate. So money supply, and if we take it price level, we have seen this in quantity theory of money. But here we what we learn new thing, that supply of money affects nominal interest rate and inflation rate as a tandem. Tandem means working together. And this is most important finding in Fisher effect. If money supply is increased by 10%, then price will rise by 10%. This we have studied under quantity theory of money, Fisherian approach, and V is equal to PT. We have also discussed here. But how the money supply affects nominal interest rate and then inflation rate as a tandem. This is also most important aspect of Fisherian effect. We will illustrate it diagrammatically just now. Fisher effect is extended to the analysis of money supply and international currency trade. It is interesting fact that Fisher effect is not only limited to our domestic nominal interest rate, our domestic inflation rate, rather Fisher effect is extended to international currency trading. This we will read as a international Fisher effect. This will be known as international Fisher effect. international Fisher effect. International Fisher effect is analyzed through the exchange market, where there is a international currency trading. And we all know, we will discuss again in another class, a spot rate, forward rate, exchange rate. All these rates are very, very important and related to the rational expectations, its variations. And Fisher effect in domestic market, Fisher effect in international economy, that is known as extension of Fisher effect to the analysis of money supply and international currency. Money supply and international currency. This we will analyze under separate class, that is international Fisher effect. Now we concentrate on Fisher effect in a domestic economy, that is the establishing a relationship between inflation and both real and monetary interest rate. Both real and monetary interest rate. You have already read at graduation level quantity theory of money established by Fisher. Same Fisher is here, and Irving Fisher established relationship between money supply and price level, general price level. In this case, what we see, that Fisher effect describes the relationship between inflation and real and nominal, both real and nominal interest rate. Most of us now know that the Fisher effect states that the real interest rate equals the nominal interest rate minus the expected inflation rate. That we have already examined in the study of nominal interest rate and market, nominal interest rate and real interest rate analysis. What you always keep in your mind, that Fisher effect establishes that real interest rates fall. Real interest rate fall as inflation increases. Real interest rate fall as inflation increases, unless nominal rates increase at the same rate as inflation. There is a case that the inflation rate rises by 10%, nominal rate will also increase by 10% if the rate is same. Then real interest rate will be affected by inflation in different way. But generally, Fisher effect establishes that real interest rates falls. Real interest rate falls as inflation increases. Real interest rate falls as inflation increases, unless nominal rates increase at the same rate as inflation. Next important thing which you have to keep in your mind about the Fisher's effect, which shows how the money supply affects the nominal interest rate and inflation rate, working closely, known as a tandem. And lastly, Fisher effect is extended to the analysis of money supply and international currency trading, and that is popularly known as international Fisher effect. Now we will examine it with the help of diagram and with the help of equation. Now we learn that Fisher's effect is more than just an equation. It has great implications in the economy through inflation, through nominal interest rate, and the stabilization in the economy through monetary policy. So this Fisher effect analysis can be utilized while writing monetary policy, while writing counter monetary policy, counter cyclical monetary policy, and wherever you require to analyze the change in inflation rate by monetary policy through increase in money supply, it will have the same effect upon nominal interest rate. And nominal interest rate we have already seen in a different analysis of effect of interest rate upon the economy through expansion and contraction. Taylor's rule utilized there and compare it with the implications that Fisher's effect establishes that there is a real interest rate and inflation rate have inverse relationship. Real interest rate falls, then inflation increases. This has been proved through the examples of case study of American economy and other developed economy. Second, first diagram is related to interest rates and inflation rates inverse relationship. Then this diagram is very important that everywhere in international discussion, this will be known as Fisher effect. Fisher effect line. Many neo-Keynesian economists have utilized this Fisher effect line to illustrate the dynamics of Keynesian economics, new Keynesian economics. And in the dynamic, we find different changes in the interest rate and its effect upon nominal interest rate. Interest rate is related to monetary policy, and therefore we must take into account that monetary policy is one of the important instruments in the economy. And in this monetary policy, what we find out that recession and inflation, these are the two problems coming in the cyclical way. Then counter-cyclical monetary policy to control recession, to control inflation, will be guided by this Fisher's effect analysis related to the inflation rate and nominal interest rate. So in the analysis of central bank policy, the central bank policy through the monetary policy pushes the country's inflation rate by 10%. Then it will have effect that nominal interest rate of the economy will also rise by 10%. This is already established, and several research work continued on this basis because these are the important factors in capitalist economy: interest rate, monetarist find that this is great instrument to stabilize short run and long run in the economy. And therefore, Fisher's effect equation is ILT is equal to R plus pi E. Here ILT is long-term nominal interest rate. ILT is equal to long-term nominal interest rate. Long-term nominal interest rate. A small r represents real interest rate. Pi E, expected inflation rate. Pi stands here for inflation rate and a small e stands for expected rate. So we come to the conclusion that in the domestic economy, Fisher effect establishes a relationship between inflation rate and real interest rate. Inverse relationship. Again, Fisher's effect establishes direct and proportional relationship between inflation rate and nominal interest rate. And finally, we have a equation, Fisher effect equation, ILT is equal to R plus pi E. That means long-term nominal interest rate is one of the important instruments, monetary instruments, to stabilize the economy from the shocks of recession, from the shocks of deflation, shocks of inflationary gap. All these times, monetarist economists always believe to utilize these monetary tools to get the stabilization both in short run and long run. That's all. Thank you.